Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor Russ Stevens, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's JP's first son, Tim Howard. Well, we have another great show for you tonight. So, boys, let's get it started. It's the NBA championship final show, and the Boston Celtics are participating. Boys, I've been nervous for the last 2 days. My stomach is growling. The Boston Celtics are playing tonight against the Dallas Mavericks. We've waited, 9 days, but we've actually waited 2 years for this to come again. The Celtics are back in the NBA Finals. We always start with the Professor Russell Stevens. Russell, as a longtime Celtics fan, what are you feeling right now?
A tremendous amount of anxiety, even though we're, on balance, should be a better team. Dallas has played really, really well since the All-Star break and since the trade deadline. But this is just classic fan anxiety. You can listen to every bit of analysis that there is. You can convince yourself intellectually that there's no reason that the Celtics shouldn't win in 5 or 6 games. But as a fan, you're just dying inside, right?
Joe, all of a sudden I'm seeing on the internet today that all the heavy money's going onto Dallas. And then I go online and the Celtics are huge favorites tonight. 2-1.
6.5.
Yeah,
So there can't be a whole lot of Dallas money going on there if the line is still 6.5.
Look, the Celtics were a better team. They're the best team in the NBA all season. They breezed through the playoffs. I can say that, Joe, right? They breezed through the playoffs.
Yeah, 12-2.
They're a lot better team than Dallas overall, and when you take an account of a 7-game series.
Best team doesn't always win, though, but I think things will run true to form in this one, and the Celtics will prevail.
Timmy, if this was a 1-game win-it-all Super Bowl, I'd be concerned, but it's not. It's a 7-game series. It's very difficult for the team that's not as talented to beat another team in the NBA in a 7-game.
The Celtics should win. They should, based on talent, starting lineup, and this is basically going to be a starting lineup. Add 1 or 2 in for the series. We have a great team. It's I cannot knock this team in any department. I cannot knock it. So this is it, boys. This is as good as it's done. I can't see how really we could improve this team. Maybe a little more depth. I mean, go, 3 stars off the bench, but I have faith in all of them. I do. Jason Tatum has to be Jason Tatum. That's the big thing. He cannot pull a disappearing act like he has done in the past in some of these critical games.
Well, so does home court advantage mean anything? Seeing that the Celtics won every road game they've played in this playoff?
Well, I think just generally in the NBA, home court advantage has faded badly. I think it's like 54% this year. And I think you chalk that up to a lot of 3-point variance, meaning road team comes in, they hit a bunch of threes, they win. It doesn't matter that they're on the road, right? So, no, I don't think it means a ton,
Because it used to mean, Joe,
it was everything.
The refereeing tended to be this.
Yeah.
Refereeing used to be influenced by the crowds, but now the ticket prices at these events in the finals are so high that it's kind of like Gillette syndrome. You get a very quiet, wealthy crowd.
Yeah, right, Timmy. We know that, right? You're going to have a different crowd tonight than when we've gone to many World Series games, and those guys we hadn't seen all season.
Yeah, absolutely. The tickets are, my section, I think we're going for $2,000. I mean, that's $4,000 to go to 1 game.
Yeah, you can't do it.
That's a big nut.
Okay, Russell, KP.
That's a much more civilized crowd that's attending.
Yeah,
they do this. Good play.
Clean jewelry. Russell,
it's like the golf crowd.
Yeah.
Well done.
And then they don't come back for the third quarter. You notice they meander in about 3 minutes left of the end of the third.
I don't know, guys. That's a pretty loud crowd. It's pretty much acknowledged that they're among the top 2 or 3 loudest crowds in the NBA.
They need to do that tonight. But Russell, I mean, KP, we've maneuvered through the playoffs pretty easy without KP.
Right.
Instead of Luke Cornett, it's going to be Porzingis, who at times, would you agree, was the second best player on the Celtics during the season?
Yeah, I mean, he was the X factor all year long. Everybody and their brother was saying they're not going to win the championship without him. We have him. The question is, at what percentage do we have him? Is he 80%? Is he 90? Is he 75? How many minutes can you play him, and how many minutes of grade A KP do we need in order to beat the Mavericks? We don't know that.
Well, he didn't get any smaller with the injury.
No, but he
the height
may have gotten slower and more ginger, and
right.
like that's guy goes out and plays 80%. That's a noticeable difference, really.
Yeah. But it helps when you got a 38-year-old Al Horford down there who doesn't like to mix it up underneath, especially with these three, big, young guys that Dallas has. It's nice to have a guy with size like KP back.
Hey, can I ask how tall are the Dallas front three?
They're skinny though.
6'11" range.
Yeah.
To me, they're not
all of them across the board.
The two of them, Gafford and Lively, are both in that like 6'10", 6'11", maybe 7 foot, but they're not 7'3". They're Al's size.
Can any of them shoot threes?
No, neither of the bigs. The
Washington's
we have in the series is all 6 of our rotation players can shoot threes, and neither of their centers can shoot threes.
And Kyrie really doesn't shoot threes either.
Oh, he's fine at threes. You don't want to give Kyrie open threes.
If you give him an open one, he'll hit it.
No, but he's not a big 3-point shooter.
No, he's a great shooter. I mean, he's the guy. You're not putting Kyrie's as good of a 3-point shooter as 2 or 3 of the Celtics. Let's put it that way.
Right. But
now let's talk about the last time we faced Kyrie, the Brooklyn Nets, 2 years ago, I believe. He did not play
3
well.
years ago.
3 years ago, he did not play well.
He's lost the last 10 games he's played against the Celtics. I mean, if that means anything, and it should. I mean, and the Celtics wiped out the Mavericks in Boston this year. It was a joke. I don't know if it's
Scotty, though, again, that was, they wiped them out in Boston. It was right after the trade deadline, and the minute allocation of that team has changed considerably. Dallas was the second best team in the NBA after us after the trade deadline. Full stop. They were. That's fact.
Of course, the elephant in the room is Luka Doncic. I mean, this guy's as close to unstoppable as there is right now.
But you don't have to stop him. You really don't. You can give Kyrie and Luka 30 points. Where's the 40 or 50 points coming from?
Well, yeah, he can do the same thing that the Celtics did to Elgin Baylor. They did to Michael Jordan. Let him score 60. Everyone else, and just cover everyone else, and you still beat them.
I think because this team does not shoot a lot of 3-pointers, they're not a big 3-point shooting team. That's the advantage right there is the Celtics. That we've seen teams during the past. That's what kills the Celtics is these teams that can shoot 3-pointers or get hot from the 3-point line, like the Heat did when they beat us that one game, and the Cavaliers did on the other game.
Yeah, look, I mean, they don't shoot as many. By the way, Kyrie shot 41% from 3 this year.
That's very good.
He's a good 3-point
above
shooter.
Average.
He doesn't take high volume, and you're right, Scotty. They don't take a high volume of threes. They can shoot them. The thing to look out for is the corner threes from PJ Washington and Derek Jones Jr. If those guys are hitting those shots, we're going to have trouble. But they're not going to hit them every game. They're just not. That's not what they do.
And we have to defend him. We have to put somebody, a Derek White or something, has to get in his face. I mean, that's the NBA playoffs in the finals.
Well, that would probably be Brown and Tatum taking those guys.
You can't have uncontested 3-point shots in the NBA finals. You can't. This is not a January 8th.
Right, but you're gonna here's the thing: if Luka's coming down the lane and you got to double off of somebody, they're gonna need to double off of PJ Washington and Derek Jones Jr. And what you're basically, if you do that, you're deciding that you're going to give up a basically an open 3, and you have to either decide to do it and live with it or not.
Basically, a Belichick defense. We're going to take away your best player.
You would think,
and let your worst players beat us.
You would think.
Right.
Or vice versa. Let the best player take off and take them out of their offense,
Who
like they used to do to Jordan
who gets the
and
Doncic
Elgin
assignment?
Baylor.
Timmy, I think they'll throw three guys at him: Drew, Jalen, and Jason. Like they'll throw different guys at Doncic. And by the way, if Horford ended up on Doncic every once in a while, it wouldn't be the worst thing because he's going to have trouble getting into the lane and bullying him. But they'll
Luka
throw a
can
bunch
get
of guys.
tired. Luka can get tired. You got to tire him out on the defensive end.
You got to make him play defense. I totally agree.
Same
all
thing
night
with
long.
Kyrie. You got to work those two guys both ends of the floor. That'll
Yep.
take away from their offense.
Yes.
I can't believe I'm saying this. The matchup goes to Missoula. I've never been impressed with Jason Kidd as a coach. I don't know. He always seems sedated to me. I've seen many press conferences, the way he talks. I watched him in the past. I've never thought he was a good game day coach. Would you give the advantage to Joe, Missoula against Kidd?
I don't have enough of a sample size there, really. He looked, I mean, Kidd handled things well against Minnesota, that's for sure.
I thought
And
Missoula
OKC, those are the only
has
ones I
done-
really saw.
has really corrected most of the flaws that I had on him this playoff series. He's calling timeouts when he should call timeout, which was my number one knock on him.
Mhm.
Russell, I mean, this is the matchup of coaching? Kidd's been
Look,
around a long time. This is
Yeah,
not.
I mean, I think it's a close coaching matchup. I would highly doubt if coaching makes a difference in this series. Like these guys have played 96 games each-ish. They're gonna get to know each other very, very well over the course of the next couple of weeks. I think it's just gonna come down to players, executing on what they've talked about, and
Well,
they
the
hit
coaching-
shots or they don't hit shots.
Russ, though, these super duper close games, though, when it comes
Yeah.
down to a final play,
I
a
guess.
final inbounds pass,
Yeah.
or something like that, the
Maybe.
coaching experience certainly comes in handy.
It could make a difference if it's a 7-game series and maybe make a difference in one game. But I don't think the Celtics or the Mavericks are going to lose because of their coach.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That just doesn't seem.
Yeah, I mean,
The players are going to determine this for sure.
who is the X factor? Is it Derek White for the Celtics or Holiday?
Probably Holiday, only because I think he's going to end up on Luka enough where it's going to really matter. And my guess is Luka's going to guard him, and Holiday's got to try to make him pay. Holiday's going to get a bunch of, open 3-point shots in this series. I really believe that. And if he makes them, it's going to be hard to beat the Celtics if Drew's making 40% of his threes and taking a fair amount of them.
Joe? White or Holiday?
I agree 100% with everything that Russ just said, but I think it's more likely that Derek White is the one that's going to tip the balance. I imagine he's going to get the Kyrie assignment. Holiday might not get Doncic. The last couple of games, Jaylen Brown has been taking him. Someone with a little bigger, because I know Drew's a big guy, but Jesus, Luka's huge at the point guard. And but I like Derek, because I think his more versatile offense that he has over Drew might tip the balance.
Al Horford, no more than 25 minutes. I think that.
I think it depends on Porzingis, Scotty. Like it would be great to not play him any more than 25 minutes, but I don't think they'll start with that. He'll be in that 25 to 30 range, I'm assuming. And
is he starting or is KP starting?
No, I imagine KP will start, but they'll pull KP. They've got to be careful. Like how bad, like KP goes out there and you push him and he pulls his calf in the third quarter of this game. That would suck. Like they've got to really just take it easy. The guy hasn't played in 37 days.
So apparently Tillman had a confrontation with Irving Kyrie at either this year or
Yeah.
last year. And apparently he plays him pretty tough for some reason, or he also plays Luka tough. Could we see some
Maybe.
5 minutes of kind of leaning on
Maybe.
Tillman?
Yeah,
I wouldn't
lean on,
mind
go
seeing it.
in. Yeah, go in if they're running a lot of pick and roll and getting. The thing you got to look out for is they're going to try to get Horford and Porzingis through a pick and roll on Luka. And if the Celtics can't stop that, they may need to bring Tillman in just to sort of disrupt things for a little bit.
Yeah. Do you see Brissett at all this series?
Not unless they go small,
Yep.
like Tatum at the 5, something like that. You know?
Will they have a short leash with Hauser?
Yes, I hope so, right? I mean, what if Hauser comes in and misses his first 3 shots? Why would you play him?
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to have any confidence right now. And he's the kind of player that he's a pure shooter. Shooters work off of confidence. When they're hot, they're hot.
I tell you one thing, just to prepare you guys, because it'll be up on our text string. The Celtics are going to take an absolute barrage of 3-pointers in the series. The Celtics, the Mavericks base defense does not run guys off the 3-point line. And when the Celtics aren't run off their 3-point line, they take 45 threes a game. And this is interesting. Celtics took 43 threes a game in the regular season, made 39%. It's a good number. In their wins, they took 43, their average, and made 39%. In their losses, they took 42, one less than their average, and only made 32%. So basically, if the Celtics are hitting 40% of their threes, they're going to win. And if they're hitting closer to 30% of their threes, they're going to lose. And get ready for Horford and Porzingis to take a shit ton of threes, and it's going to make us crazy if they don't hit them.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you that.
Yeah.
It's a make or miss league, Timmy, as you say all the time, right? I mean, this is basically what it comes down to. I mean, but we have played. I think this was a great preparation in playing Indiana. Indiana has a hell of an offense, arguably the second best offense in basketball. That we were able to play a high-powered offense and not only keep up but sweep them. Bodes well for this series.
You know, with the advent of all the threes, 12-point lead is nothing. That just
Nothing.
poof.
Yep.
It goes away in like 3 minutes. It's 2 minutes. It's gone. You miss a few, they come down, they hit a few threes. All of a sudden, you're right back in the game again.
But that's why Dallas doesn't scare me as much because they shoot a lot of twos. And
This is going to be so different, Scotty.
Like
you brought up the Indiana. Indiana's probably the fastest pace in the league. Dallas is probably the slowest. I mean, they're like watching tortoises. Luka brings the ball up. They don't even think about a pass or anything for about 16 seconds into
That's
the
good.
game.
That's easy to play defense. That's easier to play defense. I mean,
they're very slow. He dribbles the hell out of the ball. Takes all the air out of the ball.
I watched every playoff game I could, and I watched most of the Mavericks games that they played, and I was never impressed with any of them. I wasn't impressed with the Timberwolves. I wasn't impressed with the Mavericks. I just think that the Western Conference was overrated dramatically this year.
And I'll tell you, you never know that from the national press. They're ready to put a statue up for Luka Doncic right now. The national media.
Just look at the win losses. The West won inordinately a much greater number of games over the East.
It was only a year
wasn't
ago.
Even close.
It was only a year ago we were laughing at Dallas. What a bad fit Kyrie and Luka were.
Doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter what happened a year ago with Kyrie and Luka.
That's what's happening now.
Not great moves at the trade deadline. They got rid of Grant Williams. They got PJ Washington. They got this guy Gafford, and they took off. And they were the best team in the league since the trade deadline. They were. I mean, second best. They were.
Yeah, Tim, you got to love this team because they got rid of Grant Williams too.
Look.
Hey, Grant Williams and Kyrie on the same team.
Look, series change perception and change the way these teams, and especially in the NBA. Once we win the first 2 games, that's it. Dallas is going to literally fold up like a wet cardboard box. You guys,
Scotty, hey Joe, I think Scotty spent the weekend in Jacksonville with all the other Yahoos last weekend.
You got to win these games first, Scotty, before you can get them crying and packing their bags.
It's so natural to overrate a team that is now in the finals. We all do it, and we get fearful. But we've seen this. This is not our first rodeo, guys.
No, I mean,
Yes, 2 years ago,
Let me ask you
remember
a
they were
question.
ahead 3 games. They would have been they could have won in 6, and then they collapsed.
I'm going to ask you a question.
know,
We'll go around.
hold on, wait
Timmy.
1 second. This is the age that stops happening, Joe. It's if you look through the years, these superstars start winning at the age that Tatum and Brown are now. It's like the maturation, the process.
But the best team doesn't always win. Just look
I
at
know.
St. Louis, a terrible team,
but
and
I
the
put a
Bruins
lot of
lose
faith-
to them in 7.
But I
The
put a lot of
Miami
faith
Heat,
in
terrible team, they lose to them.
I put a lot of faith into the fact these guys have been there. They've done it,
Oh, experience matters. Yes.
Okay.
Joe, there is no way that Nick Foles is going to beat Tom Brady in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
No possible way. Bet the
These
house
things
on
can
it.
happen.
Yeah, but that's what I talked about. That's what I talked
Miami
about. In a one
goes
game,
up 3-0, and they're a shit bum team.
it was still a shit bum team. They didn't get it. It was just, it's fucking stupid. It didn't make any sense. And I want to recount on that. I mean, that's right.
I know
I'll
you
tell you.
predicted a sweep on that one. Too.
Yeah,
Nick Foles threw more perfect passes in that game than I've ever seen a quarterback throw in a game.
It was, well, no, it's a Malcolm fucking Butler. Why'd you get me going on that? Just listen, boys.
You're torturing the poor
question I'm
man.
asking. We're going around. We'll start with Timmy. Timmy, who would you have been more fearful of to play? The Sixers with Embiid, the Bucks with Giannis, or the Mavericks with fucking Luka Muka and Irving?
Well, I know that
Look at the
Embiid's going to
book.
run out of gas, and I know they
No,
run
but
him
who would
out
you
of
be
gas.
more fearful of to play? In order.
The way Luke is cooking right now, he makes me a little nervous. But hey, I do believe the Celtics are going to win. I do.
So you would be more fearful to play the Mavericks than the Sixers and the Bucks.
The Bucks scare me too. The Bucks are a good team.
No,
Healthy.
okay, so you would rather?
I'd be a little more fearful of Giannis than I am of Luka, because Giannis can just
And Lillard.
overwhelm you physically. He's unstoppable. He's an unstoppable force.
Okay, so Mavericks, you think are the better of those other two teams?
No, a healthy Bucks. I'd be more afraid of a healthy Bucks.
Okay, and the Sixers, no, you're not afraid of them at all.
They don't.
Not the way they were this year.
They don't strike fear into me. No.
Okay, Russell.
I just think I've seen Embiid just get worn down too many times.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I would, in terms of how Dallas has played from the trade deadline on, I would be more fearful of the Mavericks, because Luka's younger, has shown he's got staying power in a way that actually lately Giannis and Embiid never has. And his number 2 is better than either of their team's number 2. Like we can crap on Kyrie all we want. The guy's been really good in these playoffs. Really good.
Yes, but this is it. It's going to turn into a pumpkin now. Joseph, what do you think?
We're not making predictions yet, but I
No. What do you think?
Celtics.
No. The question is, would you be more fearful if we were playing the Bucks or the Sixers in the finals than the Mavericks?
This year is kind of funny because neither of the Bucks or Sixers were the threat they were the 2 years ago or 3 years ago or 4 years ago. But I would say the biggest threat is the Mavericks this year.
Oh my God, we're just built.
Denver was the biggest threat. If you wanted to compare,
Denver
it
was
would
the
be
biggest
Denver.
threat.
Yeah,
Denver had me terrified. Terrified.
And Denver's a bad matchup for us, and we couldn't beat them. And we had no answer to Jokic. We have an answer for Luka. I've seen it. I've watched games that we've played against him. You can tire that fat fuck out if you make him play any defense, and they double teams, he'll try to go through them. He's not as good as you guys think. I think this series is a freaking layup for the Celtics. This team is actually we're a bad matchup for them. Would you agree, Russell, that there are certain particular systems and teams that are bad matchups? I think we're a bad matchup for the Mavericks.
Yeah, I think we're the hardest matchup that they've played in the playoffs. I do agree with you on that. It doesn't mean that this is a layup series. I mean, we're all going to pick the Celtics to win, right? And
Right.
probably not in 7, but like I think Dallas has been really good, and he's the best player in the series. I'm sorry, Luka is a better player than Jason Tatum. He just is. He gets whatever he wants all over the court every single night. And so we could let him. I'm happy to let Luka score 42 points a night and limit everyone else and win these games by 9 points. Godspeed. I hope that's what they do. But he's really good.
Yeah, but let's just stop about PJ Washington worrying about him. Come on, the guy was.
Well, Scotty, that's why I get happy is when I look at the whole starting lineup. I mean, I'm happy with any one of them taking a shot. Any one of them. I'm happy with any one of them with the ball in their hands. I'm happy.
Right.
When's the last time you could say that?
We saw that in the Cavaliers series, and we saw that with the Pacers. Those fringe guys who they kept on expecting to take the big shots in the fourth quarter, turn the ball over, or did something wrong. Those guys aren't
The
that
Mavericks
level.
are let me tell there's one thing that I'm petrified of in this series is that close game late. And I know that we executed well again in the playoffs so far. But look, have you forgotten that Luka 2 years running beat us with a
3 games in a row
That's
at
right,
the
with
buzzer with a 3-point.
at the buzzer with a 3, and he did it again in these playoffs. That team knows how to execute because he's very good down the stretch. So that is just you've got to be prepared that if it's a tight game, you're going to get the best out of that guy.
He's clutch.
And we
He
have
is.
more clutch shooters than we've ever had in our starting lineup right now, too.
I don't disagree with that.
And all of a sudden, our pedigree has changed this, playoffs.
Drew Holiday gives me a lot of confidence having him on the court. I mean, he gives me a lot of confidence.
Look, guys, we got to go to predictions. I'm all riled up. This game needs to start.
Shall I put a broom in your hand?
All right. Well, let's just start with we'll start with Timmy. Your predictions and will you be betting on the series?
You know what I bet? I bet near the end of the game. That's when I bet.
All right.
So, I could do my typical bet 50 on Dallas and sacrifice $50 for the Celtics good.
No, what's the series?
That would. Oh, I have the Celtics 6-2. 6 games, 4-2.
Yeah, 4-2, and we win banner 18. All right, Joseph.
I think we're either going to roll over them or it's going to be an excruciating, painful series.
All right. Well, but game 6, we're winning in Dallas. Then we're not going to win at home.
I hope there is a game 5 because I have tickets for home game.
Well, they'll make that happen just for you.
And we will be going to that.
Yeah, yes, for sure. Joseph.
Well, I'm a 6. I'll go for 6 too. The Celtics in 6, banner 18 being raised to the rafters. Just because sometimes you don't win every game. Things happen. They could win a couple of close games down the stretch. I think the Celtics are just way superior to them. Let's match up the top 2 on both teams. Just cancel each other out. The next 4 on the Celtics versus the next 4 on Dallas is no contest.
I don't want to interject too much here. Kyrie can't guard anybody.
He plays defense.
He can if he wants to.
That's not really coming up here, is Kyrie's defense, which we got a taste of that when he was a Celtic.
Luka doesn't play any defense either. Yeah. I just want to mention. All right, Russell.
I think the Celtics will probably win it in 6, but
I was hoping you'd say sweep.
So no, I'm going to say 7, in part because it's going to make Scott Kerman absolutely batshit crazy. Celtics in 7.
I can't. All right, I'm doing Celtics in 5 now, only because if they do lose a game, to hear Russell just make fun of me and troll me for 2 days.
You're clowns.
I would be the best.
I have tickets for wonderful that game. To see. Look at you.
Let's say Celtics in 5.
I need a little. I just need a little bit, just so I can say, well, we'll win the rest of the games. You
Well,
just
look, guys,
That confidence is
lose a game
wilting.
because we're gonna lose a game because they shoot well and we shoot badly.
Yeah, it's
That's
true.
the
Yeah.
chances are.
That's
Well,
exactly.
the
then
only
I
thing
hope-
is, if the Celtics can win it in 5, will my greed take over and put those tickets up for sale? That's the only
No,
question.
no, you gotta go to
You're
that
gonna
game.
go see a world championship.
Well, I'll send my
Timmy,
2 youngest. I'll
Timmy,
send my
you're
2
no
youngest.
spring chicken. Come on now, you got to see.
Come on, yeah.
I've been there, done that. I'll send my 2 boys. Let them get a taste of it.
All
Yeah,
right.
Banner 19 might not be coming that right.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, I've already predicted they're going to win back to back if they do win this. I think if once they jump off over this hurdle,
This
guy.
is a wagon. We do have a wagon, boys. This
Yes.
is a good freaking team right now.
And I just want to mention that Tillman in the interview yesterday said, guys, I want to tell you, Jordan Walsh is going to be a really, really, really good player in this league. He says, I've been in this
Good.
league for quite a while. I'm telling you, that kid is the real deal. So I just, something again to be excited about with Brad Stevens and what he's done, where all of a sudden we have in the pipeline a guy like Jordan Walsh.
Hey, Scotty, before we go to the next thing, I just want to sort of 80th anniversary of D-Day today.
Yeah.
And I went to Normandy in October, and it was amazing. It was one of the coolest trips I ever saw. So I watched a little bit this morning, and Timmy, I was joking around about you may not see another one, but to look at that ceremony today and realize that not one of these guys is going to be here in 10 years. I mean, that's the edge of where we are. Is just it was amazing. Like just
Russ, I was there 3 years ago. It's breathtaking. It's numbing to stand there and look at that beach.
Yep.
Yeah.
And those guys, between the youngest one is 96.
Yeah.
The youngest one is 96 years old on that stage.
To think what those guys did.
Unbelievable.
I mean,
yeah.
And a bunch of them died before they even got to the shore.
90% died. 90% died.
I think 90% of those supposedly floating tanks sunk as soon as they hit the water. And when I went out to Point du Hoc and saw that cliff that those Rangers had to climb, I said, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
With people with machine guns shooting down at you, I don't know how they did it.
So it's
18, 19-year-old kids.
I'm glad you mentioned that. They're very emotional because there aren't many left. And
there aren't many left.
Yeah, probably 5 years, Russ.
I mean, it's over. It's like the World War I veterans when we were younger.
Russ, your dad was a military guy, right?
No, he wasn't.
No.
He wasn't. My grandfather was. Yeah.
My father fought in the Chosun River in Korea. Just about all his friends died there.
Yeah, my father was in World War II.
It would never talk about it. Never talk about it.
My father helped take the Philippines over.
Did he?
Really?
Yeah, he was the ones who. Yeah, he was in the Philippines.
Oh my God, amazing!
So he would have been 98. So it's funny because you said that. So
your dad would have been 98.
He would have been 98 right now.
Wow. So he'd have been up there. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're right. So it's very because then that's what I was thinking because like you said, I mean, 10 years, no, 5 really. I mean, no.
5. I mean, you'll have a few left in 5, but that's it.
That's it.
I was in the Coast Guard. We didn't even carry guns when I was in. They all carry guns now. I got pulled over last year in my boat. They all had M16s and 40. We used to just take the key to the boat and go out right around the harbor.
And again, I can't mention. I can't stress enough to watch the Netflix documentary on World War II.
I started watching that. Yeah. Very good.
I'll watch that tonight.
It says, Timmy, I'm not going to say. I'm going to say.
I'm a huge World War II buff.
This is all footage
every night on World War II.
All footage, tough to watch at times. Really,
very rare footage of the actual D-Day invasion, the actual landing on the beach. I think there's only a couple little tiny clips.
No, they got a lot of stuff.
3 guys running up, and 2 of them get shot down right on the spot. One guy's
lowered down. Yeah, they lowered down the gate in this footage, and they just all get fish in a barrel. They just all. Those
Germans had the greatest machine gun. That particular machine gun that they were shooting, which was one of the greatest guns ever created. Did a lot of damage.
Yeah, I wish all Americans would appreciate what those guys did 8 years ago, and everyone behave on both sides of the aisle. Just start behaving and realize we're all in this together. And these guys really did. 19 years old, 17 years old, gave up their lives. so we could hang out and do a podcast.
Kids 15 and
Unfortunately,
16 lying about their age over
Yeah,
there.
unfortunately, it takes a crisis sometimes to bring us all together.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm glad you brought that up, Russ. Great. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate
Thank
it. Boys, we're going to go to the New England Patriots because we first of all, if Drake May is there tonight, you know it's guaranteed win, guys.
Oh God.
I mean, all he has to do is, at the very least, have
St. Drake touches them with his
touch
magic.
touch the basketball,
Gonna bless them.
bless them, and that's it. I mean,
Uh,
you think about it, the two biggest stars in Boston sports will be there tonight. Drake May will be number one, and Jason Tatum too. I mean, what an exciting night!
hey, he's
How,
moved
how
up
do
the
we
ranks.
respond
He's
to
the
that? How do
backup.
we respond to that?
He's
Where's
the
Tristan
backup quarterback
Cassis?
now.
Yeah, we'll have the
Oh,
backup
fuck Tristan
quarterback.
Cassis. You see what he said yesterday?
No,
The
oh, this
Mavs
is
are gonna
strong words.
sweep- He said the Mavs are going to sweep the Celtics. That's a guy who does not understand the market that he currently plays in.
Who's that?
Casey said the Mavs are going to sweep the Celtics. What?
That's your boy.
Doesn't he
That's
know who
your
pays
boy.
his salary?
Not anymore. Marcelo Mayer, step right up.
Yeah, that's right. Can we get a bag of balls? Does Von Grissom have a brother that we can acquire? For Casey?
While we're on the Red Sox, how's the attendance been, Scott?
No, actually, yesterday I didn't even. Who had the tickets for yesterday?
The day game, I sold those. I couldn't go.
That I saw you were lucky to sell it because it seemed like that place was half filled.
Yeah, I've had very good luck this year when I haven't been able to go. Very good luck.
I went the Sunday before last, and it was jammed. I
What are you
mean,
getting
it
for
was a
them,
nice
Russ?
day, but it was packed.
Usually, I mean, most of the time I've gotten above face value, and then sometimes a little bit below, but not. I've only taken a bath on one set of tickets, maybe.
Why would anyone pay above face value when you could just walk up to the grandstand?
I think we've got good tickets. I mean,
Okay.
they've got good residual value. That people want to
Okay.
sit where we
That's
are.
good to know.
Yeah, when you walk up, all you can get is bleachers or right field team.
Yeah.
Right.
The season tickets are actually a good deal. I was going to tell you guys that because if you start wanting to go to the Red Sox and go SeatGeek, next thing you know, you're paying $70, $80, $90 for seats that we're paying currently $50 for. So it's actually a good deal to hang.
Yeah,
on.
especially with all the fees.
Yeah.
added
I think,
on.
Scotty, I think I might be ready to go to a game pretty soon.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Well, about time.
Tim's warming up to them.
Let's start.
Warming up.
Let's go with the Patriots. Look, do you guys see that of any? We're seeing a lot of acquisitions, free agents being signed. Still, do you see that the Celtics would sign? Or the Patriots would make any moves right now that would move the dial at all?
Probably not until other teams start to see their own players and cut them and stuff, right? I mean, I think things will loosen up once guys are in camp, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, the offensive line is a joke. When they play 7-on-7, it's okay. But when they play 11-11, they're not blocking anyone.
Yep.
You know, is this really where Jacoby Brissett, Timmy, plays like we've talked about the majority of the season, so you don't get Drake May?
Yeah, if they have an extremely weak offensive line, you have to go with. I mean, he's a big, rugged guy. That's the guy you want back there. I mean, not that May isn't a big rugged guy, but he's not used to the speed yet. He's not used to a lot of things. Jacob Brissett at least seems like he can be durable back there for a while till things get in order. Now, are we going to find out? Was it Belichick who was on the cheap, or was it Kraft? I mean, if Kraft continues to think that he can, get winning teams out of being cheap with the payroll forever. I mean, you think he's still of that mindset?
Look, I mean, again, this is not the year to spend. Right now we have
Right, I was going to say the same thing. They're tanking without saying they're tanking.
Look, you can
They want to set
to next
themselves
year.
up
Yeah,
for 2 or 3 years.
But you can carry this money over to next year, whatever they have left.
Well,
So
no, only a certain amount after you
No.
get to the floor. You have to get to the floor.
they're there. They're already there because they can. Because if you listen to Miguel, he said they can carry over the rest of their
Yeah,
money.
but again, don't listen to Miguel. He usually he's just a Patriots house organ.
Yeah, well, I mean, well, obviously the numbers are the numbers, Russell, right? I mean, they have the most difficult schedule this year in football, and a
Yeah.
lot of the computers is saying that this team's going to be the worst team in football.
I think they're the favorite to be the last team without a win.
Yeah,
Wow.
Right.
and the favorite to
Even
be- have the
well,
number one
yeah,
pick in the draft.
Carolina's in a crappy division. They could steal one there
Think
against.
they
like,
still
the
keep
Saints or
think
something.
they still keep banging the place out no matter what?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the season ticket base. There's still a waiting list, right? Yeah,
I do have a friend who he was on the list. He finally got a call.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's going to definitely be calls made. Look, if we had the number one pick in the draft, would you trade down and gather up more
Well,
assets?
it would all depend on what you were offered. If you got 6 first-round picks, yeah, of course you would.
Yeah, I mean, so
It
this
looks
is
like how May's developing too.
Yeah. If
Oh,
if May doesn't develop, then you use it for another quarterback.
oh my God! What would you guys?
Well, and if he does, you trade down. Simple as that.
If May doesn't develop,
Well, okay. Well, in the minuscule chance that May
In the
doesn't develop,
1,000,000th of 1% chance.
well,
you
first of all, they
obviously
were
think
never. Come on,
I don't
they
know
never
who's
give-
coming out next year. I don't know what quarterbacks. If there's some superstar that's going to come out next year.
There's not a chance they're giving
But if
up.
May isn't living up to what you think he might be, and I don't know if a year is enough time to test that, but you get the number one pick and you already got May, you obviously do trade down,
Russ,
and
give
get
the voice of reason. They're not giving up on Drake May in a year from now.
not giving up
No.
on. I just he has to
Drake
prove
May's
something.
got like what, 4 years probably to prove.
For the cheap contract, yes.
Yeah, Drake May's. Yeah, right. This is not it. They even gave Mac Jones 3 years. I mean, and he sucked. He's a joke.
And it's the 4th year before you have to pick up the option for that 5th or not.
But there's just a lot of exciting things coming out of Foxborough. I wish you guys would jump on the bandwagon here. I mean,
I'm on the bandwagon. I just want to see the
seriously.
dude play first.
I mean, man, come on. They said his footwork has improved. I mean, already, even people who are negative.
Somebody's singing the same tune about Cam Newton.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
This is what these sports writers say. Everyone comes to camp in the best shape of their lives.
Oh, it sounds like
Ready
Mike
for a
Reese is
big
on
year.
Mike Reese is on the Patriots payroll. I mean, does he have an employee number down there? I mean,
No, that's
Yeah, Mike Reese. Yeah, that's why it was crazy when Belichick would be mean to him, and Mike Reese is like, "Huh? I could not ask you a more softball question. Seriously, what do you want from me?"
no. Tom Curran is the house organ. He does whatever Bob Kraft tells him.
Bob Kraft.
Reese will fight with Kraft.
Yeah, he
But
wouldn't.
Tom Curran will gospel, chapter and verse. Whatever Bob says, he writes, he says.
Okay, boys, we got to go to the Boston Red Sox, and no team looks more like a 500 team than this team. They Sam Kennedy, and we love Sam Kennedy. He's been on the show, Brookline Zone, but nobody's more corporate and says things that you just cannot listen to or take seriously. He said that this team should be better. That we built a team that should be far.
Yes, I
500.
couldn't believe that.
What is he even? Is he just selling Cora down the river?
He's trying to. He's had a very successful career, throwing everyone else under the bus except for himself, and now he's priming Cora to be the one that goes under the wheels, not himself.
Russ, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're really doing with Cora. I think the trading deadline, frankly, will tell us everything we need to know. I saw that Jim Bowden listed them as buyers at the deadline the other day in The Athletic, and I thought that was strange. I don't see that. Do you guys?
What are they buying?
I don't know.
No, they're not buying. They didn't buy all off season. Why would they start buying now?
Right.
They're sellers. I mean, this is very simple. Jansen's
Well,
gone. I don't know why Jansen's still on the team. He hardly ever pitches. Whatever you get from Chris Martin has some now some
Well, now
anxiety,
he's
so he's
yeah, he's on
probably
the
has no
IL.
value. So whereas you're going to get nothing for him. Tyler O'Neill has struggled, but he's gone. Right? There's no reason for him to be on the team. What my question is, we'll start with Timmy. What do you do with Pavetta? He's going to be a free agent after this year. He's a quality right-handed pitcher. I think you got to sew him up.
if he wants more than $1 million, they probably won't sign him, right? I mean, and as far as them being sellers, buyers, I mean, the whole organization is based on their prospects, right?
Yeah, right.
So who do you give up to be a buyer when the whole system is set up on prospects?
Yeah, it doesn't. That Jim Bowden doesn't know what he's talking about.
It
Yeah,
didn't
and
make sense to me.
they'll have short arms. They'll have alligator arms again when it comes to Pavetta.
Yeah,
They
I
don't
think that's
pay
right.
anybody. They don't want to pay anybody. They don't want to pay market value for anybody.
There's no reason to lose Russell. There's no reason to lose Nick Pavetta to free agency.
No, there isn't. And if he gets on a roll, you got to try to get something for him, right? And you've already seen like Cutter Crawford is regressing to the norm, right? Regressing to the mean. He's guys get on these rolls and you can throw 5-6 good starts out, and you get a guy of Nick Pavetta's age, deal him, like send him out at that point in time.
He's the streakiest of them all, too. He gets on hot streaks and then he
Yeah.
gets real cold.
Yeah.
So what are we doing here if we have guys, again, we have guys on the team, quality starting pitching. That's hard to come by across the league. Why are we trading him when we should be?
I think they'll sign him as a core employee.
Who?
I think they'll re-sign him.
Pavetta? They may. I mean, I don't think he's not gonna earn a ton
Not
of
going
money.
to break the bank.
Yeah. I mean,
What kind of money?
he
What kind of
earned-
money are we talking?
Nine,
I
10.
don't know. What's
No,
that?
more than that. No,
More than 10?
he's
15?
a 15. Yeah.
Yeah.
15 guy.
Do
Okay.
you see the Red Sox actually doing that though? I
Oh
don't.
yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I think he's a 15, 60, 4 years, 60 million. I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
his performance hasn't been like contract related type. He's just a streaky guy.
but he's a very good, quality.
When he's good, he's very, very good. And when he's bad, he's very, very
He's
bad.
a good third starter, and he's a tough kid.
Yeah.
Kid really is a competitor.
Very loyal employee to them, so they got to take that into consideration.
Okay, we said we don't care if they get a bucket of balls for Chris Sale. Well, I'm here to tell you, they get a bucket of balls.
9-1, Chris Sale.
But you still feel Vaughn Grissom's not a major league baseball player. I watched every up at bat he's had just about. He's shown me absolutely no reason to believe that he's a major league football player.
But did we ever expect that they would get anything for Chris Sale? I mean, we couldn't believe that somebody took him off our hands.
Right. And then
The Red Sox are still paying, right?
half of it.
Half?
Half.
Yeah.
This
This year, he got an extension from Atlanta, and they'll be on the hook for all of that.
Yeah.
How much did they pay him in the extension? Do you know, Joe?
A lot of money. He got a couple. What did he get? Another 3 years beyond?
How much a year?
Probably like
Oh, in the 20s.
18, 20, yeah. Russell, does Chris Sale pitch like this if he's pitching for the Boston Red Sox?
No.
Right now?
Oh,
No. I think Chris Sale got used to the yo-yo piece of it. I think Chris Sale got used to it's okay. If I don't pitch great, we won a World Series. I get out. I own my failure. I say all these sorts of things. I'm
Right.
bad about myself, and people just forget about me.
Yeah.
I think he there was an excuse, and he took it here
Every time. Yeah, right.
every
Exactly.
time.
Yeah, right. Yeah. If I'm gonna get paid to do nothing, why would I stop doing that?
Imagine
Exactly
what
right.
his bank account must look like right now.
Very
I
healthy.
mean,
yeah.
But again, do we trust Craig Breslow to make these deals? Because I assume there was a list that the Braves gave him to pick from. Pick one player from this list for Chris Sale, and he picked the wrong one.
I don't know. Like, it's so early. We can praise him for a few things he did, right? And I give him credit. He bringing in Andrew
Hired
Bailey,
the right coaches.
some of the player development stuff. Like we give Heim credit for drafting these guys, but they're all kind of like wallowing in their stuff, and for whatever reason, and maybe partly with the player development staff, they've upped their game. These guys are doing well in the minors now.
Right, but I mean,
too soon to tell.
I just didn't understand the move. I just want to wrap on Von Grissom. I didn't understand the move when you have a guy like Nick York already in the system. That, I mean, again, you're going to have to give this number one pick, who has done a good job in the system, an opportunity to be your starting second baseman. I didn't understand why it's not pitching you should be acquiring. That's the priority. And again,
oh, I'm sure they're trying to acquire pitching, but you can't get it for nothing. You got to give up something, and they don't seem to be willing to give up anything.
He was not dealing with leverage there, Scotty. That was a dead contract. Sale was a dead contract.
No one else would take that.
Nobody else would take that.
Yeah, I can't really get on him for that because he was just looking to dump him for a bag of balls. I mean, a bag of balls would have been fine.
I know, but
yeah, he wouldn't be doing this.
By the way, Nick York wasn't good last year. Like, I know Nick York's played well this year, but he didn't have a good year last year.
I know, but
he's having a terrible year this year.
Didn't you give up on him last year?
Talk about minor leagues.
Scotty, didn't you give up on Nick York last year?
I never gave up on Nick York. I'm the one who's been talking about Nick York since he was like 8 years old.
You gave up on him.
No, I've always
incorrectly.
No, that was Jeter Downs. He finally gave up on.
No, I don't give up. All right, you can talk. You can say that. Otherwise, I'm muting you about minor leagues. Nick York has been very good, Joe. And again, 22 years old, and you're like, well, there's 7 second basemen that they've called up. Do you understand the whole process? I mean, seriously.
Well, that's why he got called up to AAA, is because everyone at AAA is up here now.
He's 22 years old. They have to go through the system, Joe. We've had 462 shortstops. So does that mean Mayer sucks? Mayer is literally the best player in the minor league system.
Mayer is hitting like 300 down there.
Can we get back to Nick
250.
Foles? Can we get back to Nick Foles?
Nick Foles.
Yeah. That's a good Nick.
No, the way you guys all talk about PJ Washington.
Let's get back to Cam Newton.
Well, PJ Washington made a big difference for this.
You gotta be kidding me. If you please let PJ Washington take every last second shot to decide a game. Please.
Oh, he never will.
I will line up 7 last shots that he will take, and I'm betting you we win the series right there.
I just thought the clock's winding down. Why not put 4 guys on Luka Doncic? Right?
Exactly.
He's taking
because
the shot
he finds the open guy better than anyone on the Celtics does.
I will finish. We're not going to talk
a good assist guy.
We got to fight. Do you guys believe that Irving gets affected by the Celtics crowd?
No.
Nah, he's played hundreds and hundreds of games at the NBA level.
Yeah. I don't know though.
It's just another game.
Boston has a way of getting under his skin.
Honestly, I think the crowd's going to turn on Luka faster than they turn on Kyrie. Luka's
there is deep-seated hatred. When he wiped his foot on Lucky, that.
Yeah. Oh my! Can you believe he did that in Boston? He freaking wiped his foot on a leprechaun. Oh my!
Luka's always gotten along good with the Boston crowd. How many times? A couple times here on those 3-point pointers at the buzzer, he was trash talking the people at courtside. Remember?
Yeah, he shouldn't do that this time.
Then high-fiving them as he went off the court.
People are going to despise Luka Doncic after the series. Trust me. Yeah. All the bitching and moaning that guy does. By the third quarter tonight.
If he starts
talking to the bench every time he hits a shot, he trash talks the Celtics bench after every shot he hits.
Let's see who the refs treat better, Tatum or Doncic.
Oh, Doncic.
We have to end with.
He never gets an offensive foul. Never, ever.
End with Timmy and the hate. Nobody hates Kyrie Irving more than Timmy. He is your number one villain of all time in Boston
All
sports.
time. No, not even a close second.
Is that right? Okay.
He just he's one of those guys who you run across. If he has to throw like 3 words that he doesn't even know what they mean into a sentence. You know what I mean? Just because the words sound fancy, he keeps trying to tell everyone he's the smartest guy in the room.
He's a jerk. He's
Just a jerk, And I don't know if somebody finally got to him and just said, "Shut the fuck up, Kyrie." Shut up. Stop talking. If you're gonna say anything, say something nice. No matter how you really feel about it, just say something nice. But someone finally that's his feelings haven't changed one bit. He's still a complete asshole.
Joe, who's your number one villain in the history of Boston sports?
Oh, I don't know. I really don't know. Going back as a kid, I was Wilt Chamberlain. Hated him. Kyrie's as good as any.
No.
Who's your number one villain?
Ulf Samuelson's right
Ulf
up there.
Samuelson. There's only one
Yeah.
answer to the question.
go.
It's Ulf
There you go.
Samuelson. Come
Pat
on.
Quinn for destroying
Teddy
Bobby
Green.
Orr that time.
There's only
Who
one.
hit Teddy Green with the stick?
Because
Chico
Samuelson,
Mackey.
just for the
Chico
audience,
Mackey. One of the Mackey brothers.
Samuelson injured and ruined Neely's career.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Gave him a
single-handedly
knee.
ended
Give him a knee check.
Cam Neely's career with a cheap shot. Like one moment in time, it was over.
Yeah.
Machado did that to Pedroia.
Machado did it to Pedroia,
Yeah.
which
Yep.
finally people are recognizing. And to this day, Machado never paid the price for that. No one ever put Machado on his ass. Never got hit by a pitch. They threw guys out of pitchers from the Red Sox out of the game for trying to hit him. No one hit him, not once.
Right, I know. There needs to be some payback to Machado.
Oh, bad guy.
Because he did, and that was blatant.
Blatant.
Spiked him.
Well, it was nice seeing him strike out to end the World Series there.
Yep.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, we've had a lot of villains, and it's going to be fun tonight, boys. I hope you guys enjoy. This is why we do all those sit-ups and push-ups.
There will be laundry done in Milton tonight.
Yeah. And this is going to be fun.
I hope not, Tim. I hope they're up by 20 and a half and just go on a run to start the third quarter and put it away.
Because we talk about a lot of
all week.
We talk about a lot of games, but these championship games, they're the ones that mean everything. So enjoy, boys. Well, that's our show for tonight. Want to thank the fellas. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Thursday night at 7 o'clock for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.